I'm starting this new series where I will be buying pre-owned gaming PCs and I will be fixing, cleaning, upgrading, and even making them pretty in order to make some extra cash. So let's just hop right into the first episode. So the first listing that I saw for this series was initially listed for $1,100 and it had dropped over half the price over the course of 2 months. So why isn't this thing even selling? Well, first of all, the photos just aren't amazing, but the description has some errors in it that make you lose confidence of whether or not these components are even the ones that he says they are. First error in the description is the fact that he says it's a Ryzen 7 5800 XT with 8 cores and 12 threads, when that model only comes with 8 cores, 16 threads. Second issue is the RX 6800 XT actually doesn't come in an XT variant with this specific model. So with the first two components being mislisted, it makes me question whether or not the RAM speed or capacity is right and whether or not the storage capacity is right. And then the third main issue is the fact that he just says it's an MSI motherboard, which that doesn't clarify whether it's X570, B550, or if it's even older than that. So at this point, I'm kind of thinking maybe I just throw him an offer and see if he takes it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? The computer that we picked up off Facebook Marketplace came with a Ryzen 7 5800X, a 32GB kit of Corsair Vengeance LPX at 3200 MHz, and the video card being the XFX 6800 Swift, an MSI B550 MPG motherboard, Fractal Design North, two 1TB NVMe drives, and finally a Thermaltake 1050 watt power supply. So the biggest reason I see that computers just don't move on Facebook Marketplace is the fact that they're just extremely dirty. So first things first, I just want to rip this whole thing apart and clean every square inch so that the next buyer has a pristine computer, but it also just helps tremendously with the listing. So I'm also doing a full teardown on this build because we're adding a liquid cooler from NZXT, and we're going to need to be able to switch out the backplate for the CPU cooler. The Cooler Master Hyper 212 Black Edition is actually a really nice cooler, but we want to swap it out with the liquid cooler because I think it's going to help so much with the resale on this thing. So I was a little bit scared that we would not end up with the processor in the listing, and we ended up with a Ryzen 7 5800X. So here's the NZXT Kraken Elite that we purchased from Best Buy Open Box for about half off. It did come with all the hardware and everything, but the thermal paste was a little bit messed up. Luckily, I have spare thermal paste on hand, so that wasn't an issue. So the graphics card did not actually end up being an RX 6800 XT. The sticker on the back claims that this is a 6800 non-XT. So at this point, after cleaning the whole computer and installing the liquid cooler, I thought it still looked a little bit bland and was missing a little bit of extra spark, if you know what I mean. So I went ahead on eBay and picked up a 32GB kit of Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro at 4000 megahertz to give it some more lighting inside. Then for a more premium feel, I went with the Asia Horse braided cable extension kit from Amazon. And finally, I went with the Lee & Lee Unifan SL INF 120 RGB 3-pack off of eBay. I really thought that these fans would just give the whole build another step up in aesthetics. So all in, how much did this computer cost? Well, Facebook Marketplace provided us with the computer for $460 after some pretty heavy negotiation. For memory, I snagged a Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro kit of 32GB at 4000 megahertz for $84 used off eBay. Then we had the fans to spruce up the build, and that was the Lee & Lee Unifan SL INF 120 RGB 3-pack off eBay for $74 open box. Lastly, we had the NZXT Kraken Elite 240 liquid cooler that we got off Best Buy's website for $135 open box. After adding up the costs of all the components, we come down to a total of $753 after about 24 hours of the computer being listed on Facebook Marketplace for $1,100. Managed to sell it for $1,040, bringing us a whole profit of $283. If you guys think you could have sold this computer for more, let me know down in the comments, and in the future I'll try to go for higher profit margins.